And I'm like, I got a murder case. You know what I'm saying? And I always say, like, anybody that know me from Portsmouth, and it's a lot of people that know us from Portsmouth, you know, I was not a saint. But you're not gonna run across a lot of people that's gonna flat out be like, yeah, white boy, his little brother, they straight gunslingers, they straight murderers. It just wasn't an MO. He was literally known as a get money dude.
Right.
And I was just a young dude, 15 years old, out of Portsmouth, doing what young dudes in Portsmouth do at that point.
Yeah, and honestly, we were used to the police kicking in the crib.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So that won't like. It was normal.
Right. So now, when they got you, did you ever think like, oh, okay, well they couldn't get me on the drugs, so now they trying to pin this murder on me?
No, I didn't know what was going on.
Let's go, yo, listen up, everybody. Have you heard the news? Got a brand new show that's breaking all the rules. Started out from VA and now we on the move from local to global, cause we got something to prove. We came from the bottom, now we at the tippy top to hold it down for our people, cause we all we got. This a cold, cold world, but we keeping it hot. With our future on the line, ain't no time to stop. All work over here, still we having fun. Yeah, we say it like it is, ain't no holding our tongue. Go get us on the team, yeah, we getting it done. And shout out to Travell, yo, you number one. It started with a dream that turned into a vision. Now educated new generations is our mission. Ears to the streets, yeah, we steady politicking. If it ain't about the change, mind your business.
Now wait again, minute. Wave your hands with it. Wait again, minute. Wave your hands with it. Now wait again, minute. Wave your hands with it. We top picks like we all up on the gram with it. Now wait again, minute. Wave your hands with it. Now wait again, minute. Wave your hands with it. Now wait again, minute. Wave your hands with it. We top picks like we all up on the gram with it.
Into another episode of Wait Again Minute podcast. I am Gam, and this afternoon we have two special gentlemen with us, Mr. Blonco and Elliott Hill. So how you guys doing?
Wonderful.
Yeah, wonderful. Glad to be on the show. Thanks for inviting me out. Appreciate it.
No problem. So how was your weekend, Mr. Elliott?
Oh man, long drive to Richmond. Went to an event. Shout out to Paul Taylor, Justice League. Rec League, wonderful things, showing how offenders can get out, individuals that were formerly incarcerated can get out, reinvent themselves and be productive citizens.
Okay. Yeah. And you, Mr. Blonco, how was your weekend?
Oh man, it was wonderful. We set up a table. We the People Money Management Group and RIF. We set a table up. Paul Teller gave us that opportunity to actually show everybody what we do, and we help people with their finances. So it's beautiful.
That's some good stuff. So we're going to start with you first, Mr. Elliott. Can you please introduce yourself to our viewers and listeners of Wait Again Minute?
Yep, my name Elliott Hill. I was formerly incarcerated in DOC. I done 23 years and 8 months. Luckily, for a crime that I did not commit, luckily some good people stepped out, helped me, assisted with getting me out. Here I am today. Grateful.
Wow, and you're from Portsmouth, right?
Portsmouth, Virginia, baby. Dub boy.
And you, Mr. Blonco?
Yeah, I'm Blonco Hill, a.k.a. White Boy. Back in the day, you know, we transitioned. We just, we glad to see my brother home. You know, he made it home. Just sad what the system done to him, but he came home. Now he's took off running. He's amazing.
Right. Good. Now, Elliott, tell us a little bit about you. Like, how old were you? What happened? Give us a little back info on what happened.
Just traveling back sometimes to that day, you know, it touched you a little bit. But in 1995, I was convicted of a murder
97.
I did not do. 1997, I was convicted for a murder I did not do. The event happened in Salmonsdale, basketball court. I don't know if you want me to go into detail at this point, but if you do.
Yeah, absolutely.
1997 on Father's Day, me and my brother was accused of committing a murder on Salmonsdale basketball court. The paperwork reads that 4 offenders pulled up to a basketball court around 9:45 at night. The offenders started playing a game of 21. The game of 21 got heated. The guy who was murdered ended up fussing with one of the assailants there. One of the assailants went back to their vehicle when the guys was fighting, retrieved a handgun, and shot the guy 5 times. And
Wow.
I don't want to take lightly the victim of this crime. His name was Michael Moore, and I really want to, he was a victim of a crime that occurred. So if I may be talking about this and skipping over his name, is no disrespect for him, because
Okay,
it was
gotcha.
a victim that was created by that crime that occurred on Father's Day in 1997.
Wow. Okay, so this is 9 something at night. What did it have lights out there? Was it well lit? Like how did we get to you guys or you being implemented in this crime?
Well, that's the funny part, right? You talking about playing basketball on Simonsdale Court at 9:45 at night. I think it was maybe a few pole lights they said was out there.
Okay.
But they would say that it was 2 witnesses and they was able to identify. And when they made these identifications, it's crazy because I was one of the guys that was implement for the murder, and my brother was as well. It's a long story. If you want me to go into that story, I definitely
I want
will.
you to go into the story, but I want you to make it short.
Okay.
But definitely detail.
Well, it was 2 witnesses that was involved in the case. One of the witness name was Michael Morgan, and the other witness was Amanda Moore. These 2 witnesses, Amanda
Moore.
Bunn, excuse me.
Oh, Bun. Okay.
Now it happened so long ago. Amanda Buns was the witness that implemented me and my brother in this case. It's a long story of how I met her, but she was facing a drug charge.
Okay.
And from that drug charge, some people can say she was trying to beat it. It's up to individuals to make that opinion themselves.
Right.
But she implemented my name and my brother's name.
I hear you and I'm listening, but I'm just like, how did she come up with you 2 guys? You guys do look alike though, I must say.
Yeah.
So how did she come up with you guys out of all the people in Portsmouth in 97?
That's a funny story because 15 years old out of Portsmouth. At that time, I was kind of thugging. I was trying to, as a young dude, didn't have guidance. I was trying to make a name out of myself. So at that time, my brother was a well-known drug dealer out here. You know what I mean? Me coming up behind him, trying to, establish myself. Kind of tough, but that's what we was doing back then. So I was at a crack. I used to go a crack house, man. Shout out to Lorraine, Cabinet Park. But it was at this time. It was a different era. You know what I mean? So I was in this crack house, and I met this white girl where she used to come to this house, and she was scoring heroin.
Okay.
And man, if y'all don't know, but some of the hustlers know. But if back then they used to sell $10 caps. So if you had a white customer, you would take this $10 cap. They'll bring you $10. You would take that $10 cap. You would bust it down. You would put 1/2 in one bag, 1/2 in the other bag. You would keep one of the bags. Then you would sell that other bag to the fiend or to the customer for that $10. So it's like you pocketing $5. So if that person brings you $100, you repeat the same thing.
Right.
So $5. But the funny story is, shout out to Joe Biggs too. Out there, one time I come to him, I'm like, bro, I'm trying to score some dope. He like, no, little white, we ain't gonna sell you no dope. So I'm like, man, what you think I'm using, dope or something? So he like, no, man, we just ain't gonna do that. We ain't doing that. So I'm like, man, forget you. I go to the next person. I go up the block, bro, I'm trying to score. Somebody da. So they like, we ain't selling you nothing. So this is a instrumental part of the story because that's how my brother came into play. Because I knew my brother, you know, the people he knew can find dope out the way. So I introduced the white girl, her name was Rachel, to my brother, and that's how he got to know them. And that's how the other white girl, Amanda Bond, got into play, because she used to come to my house every blue moon. She probably twice with Rachel, and that's how that came into play.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So now you, Blonco, you okay? Where were you at when this murder supposed had occurred?
Well, when the murder happened, I really didn't know where I was at. You know what I mean? Until they told us the date, and it fell on Father's Day. And luckily, Jermaine Green had a Father's Day cookout in Brighton. And at that time, I think my daughter was maybe 2 years old. And I was walking around with her at the cookout, and I had her on my neck. You know what I'm saying? So I was seen on camera around that time, you know, when the murder had supposed to have happened.
Right.
Yeah, that's...
Wow. So you were at the Father's Day cookout, and thank God that you were seen on the camera, because you were seen on camera, you're actually here today. Yeah. Right?
Most definitely.
Okay, so you were... That day happened. So how did they get you guys?
All right. So I was in the car with my homeboy Keith Burtz. It was me, Keith Burtz, and somebody else. I really can't remember. We was coming down Elliott Avenue by Cadney Park, and it was like, man, it was like a movie, man. Front, back, left, right of his car, police just jumped out. Norfolk police, Suffolk police, guns down. You know what I'm saying? They like, we got you now, white boy, we got you now. And I'm laughing because I'm like, I ain't dirty. I know I ain't dirty, so how you got me? You know what I'm saying? I ain't got no dirt. Ain't nothing at my mom's crib, you know what I'm saying? And that's when it was like, yeah, we got you now, we got you now. We got you for murder. I say, murder?
Right.
You know?
You got the right guy?
You can't have the right guy.
Right.
We got you now. And that was it. I ended up going to the police station. And when I was walking through the basement, and they hold you, like you coming down the basement, when you come in, back in the days, I don't know how it is now, but when you come into one door, and then you come in another door, and you make this right. And you make this right, and that's where they lock you up to the wall at. But when I was walking through, I seen this table, and this table had a whole lot of money on it. So I'm like, is that my money?
Right.
They said it was your money, because the weird part was I was just about to buy my mother a house in Brighton, because we was going to get from out of Cadney Park, and I was going to buy her a house in Brighton. So the money that we was going to use to buy the house, it was gone. It was gone
that quick.
And the funny part is because he's saying like murder, it was kind of shocking, because while he was being arrested, the same thing was occurring to me out Cadney Park. And it was shocking to me too, you know, because when I looked up, you know, on the ground, red dots, assault rifles, you know, and I'm like, you know, yeah, we out here thugging,
right?
But boy, we ain't this capital thugging right here. You know what I'm saying? Like when they run down on you and you talking about assault rifles, red beams, vests that say SWAT, you like, oh, something serious. So you know, I do the same thing. I turn around, I'm like, what am I locked up for?
Right.
And the guy says, murder.
So what did it, look, I can't even get it out, because I'm sitting here looking at your face, and I can only imagine how you were looking then.
Yeah.
Like you're looking startled now.
Yeah.
And okay, so you guys went down. Now, did you know that he was was in there for murder too?
I never knew that they had my bro until we was in Portsmouth City Jail. I never knew they had him. You know, me and my brother didn't hang together. Like, it's a 9-10 year difference. So.
What's up, family? Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Wait Again Minute Podcast. If you haven't done so already, please hit that subscribe button on our YouTube channel. Hit that notification button as well, so when we drop a new episode, you'll be first to know. Stay tuned to all things Wait Again Minute.
Back then, my little brother ain't never hang with me. I had my little crew that used to roll with me back in the days, but it was never my brother, so it was just weird.
That's the funny part. So the Ossipus, you talking about the case reads 4 people pulled up in a 4-door car, got out playing basketball, boom, boom, boom. Then it took place, a shooting took place. Now, if we're co-defendants, that means I had to be with him.
Right, absolutely.
But now you talk about somebody that was home. You know what I'm saying? Now you're talking about somebody that did 23 years and 8 months. So now you starting to see like these holes develop and like what's going on. And that's the funny part, because I knew he was being arrested because when the walkie-talkie went off, you can hear the walkie-talkies, and I heard, we got him. I'm like, the fuck? Like, got who? Like, and then, you know, you keep hearing the back and forth, and it's dawning on me like, oh, shoot, they got bro too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So now you talking about just like all of a sudden you waking up, you in Portsmouth City Jail. I mean, well, I'm in a detention home at the time.
Because you only 15.
Yep. They sent me straight to the detention home. I'm at the detention home. And I'm like, I got a murder case. You know what I'm saying? And I always say, like, anybody that know me from Portsmouth, and it's a lot of people that know us from Portsmouth, you know, I was not a saint. But you're not going to run across a lot of people that's going to flat out be like, yeah, white boy, his little brother, they straight gunslingers, they straight murderers. It just wasn't an MO. He was literally known as a get money dude.
Right.
And I was just a young dude, 15 years old, out of Portsmouth, doing what young dudes in Portsmouth do at that point.
Yeah, and honestly, we were used to the police kicking in the crib. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So that won't like, it was normal.
Right. So now, when they got you, did you ever think like, oh, okay, well they couldn't get me on the drugs, so now they trying to pin this murder on me?
No, I didn't know what was going on.
Okay.
Like I literally didn't know what was going on. It didn't make sense. You know what I mean? It just didn't make sense. We weren't there. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it was kind of hard to get a clear understanding on the case, because like literally we were not there. So they saying all of this stuff and we reading it.
No, I kind of formed, you know, a reason of why it could have happened, right? Amanda Bonds was just a known drug addict, you know, and for real, you know, if she see this, I'm thankful for her, because she stepped forth and wrote me an affidavit that literally cleared me. She's one of the reasons I'm out now. So I'm not saying this to belittle her character or take anything from her, but just at the point of life she was at, she was a drug addict.
In the past.
In the past, it's just flat out, you know what I mean? She was known as a drug addict, and she was catching these cases.
Right.
And she caught a serious case. She got caught with maybe like 2 bundles of dope.
Wow.
And if you don't know what 2 bundles of dope is,
absolutely not.
2 bundles of dope is the equivalent of 24 bags of heroin, little baggies.
Wow. 20
baggies of heroin, and it carries a lot of times. So you talking about roughly what, maybe 1.5 grams, 2 grams?
I don't even know, honestly. That wasn't my thing. I was a coke man.
Yeah, me neither. But we talking about a serious case.
Okay. And
I just was thinking, and from conversations I've had with her, because I have communicated with her. You know what I mean? She literally, like when I was locked up, she literally got in contact with somebody I was communicating with, and she was like, I want to talk to Elliott. You know, she told me, she was like, man, I cried plenty of years thinking about what happened to you, literally. And from that, I was able to get an affidavit. But I think what happened, she was trying to beat the case, wrote through her mental Rolodex, didn't maybe think nothing of it, and she just started naming names.
But I do think on the search warrant, she said, I showed her a gun and told her this is what I popped her with. In 1997. Now, back then, you know, black and white weren't as mixed as it is now. You know what I'm saying? So what sense does it make to show a stranger a gun?
Right. And
say this is what I popped them with? And then the police took that. Like why would you choose her word?
Oh, because she's white and you're black?
I wasn't even a convicted felon at the time.
Yeah.
But the crazy part is, though, that was literally how they got the search warrant.
And they said that on the search warrant?
Yes.
Wow, that's crazy.
You know what I mean? And at that point, I really wasn't implemented. But, you know, as the trial progressed, you know, and a lot of people, and, you know, he faced a lot of scrutiny behind this because you talking about a dude, out the neighborhood, grimiest dude in the world, told his little brother at 15 years old to take the case, and you ain't gonna get no much time, and you wear the case, you gonna be all right. And that was the story that was conjured up throughout the city, you know what I'm saying? And it's kind of unfair. That's why I wanted to bring my bro up here, because he's, and a lot of people ain't gonna like this, but he's just as much as a victim as I was, because literally the dude came to the courtroom, pointed at him, said he didn't do it. He went home that day.
His hair was too long. Pointed at me and said my hair was too long. No, it ain't that my hair won't too long. We won't there.
Yeah, we won't there, right?
Yeah, we won't there.
So how did that make you feel as you're the older brother, right? And you know off top, like neither one of you guys had anything to do with it, but somebody saying that it was you, then coming to court saying that it wasn't you, you get to go home. But in actuality, your brother's still there. So how did that make you feel?
It took a long time for me to get my heart to not be racist against white people.
Right.
Honestly, it totally damaged me. I'm not that now, but at the time, when you take her word, you know what I'm saying, and she said that I did this, and now the city is saying, oh, white boy, you got that gone, killed the dude, and you told your little brother to take the charge, you know what I'm saying, because he was going to get juvenile life. Now he end up with got that gone 53. That's messed up on your part. And you can't convince the city that it ain't true. And so I was I became a demon.
Yeah, but that's a powerful statement, because, I was somehow, because you just think about it. You hearing these rumors, everybody saying, you know for a fact you wasn't there. And then you got all these rumors that's saying that your brother committed this crime, right? And then that can lead to you having those thoughts too.
Right.
For a minute, I was like, did my brother do this shit? And he probably had the same questions of me.
Bro, what you do?
You feel me? Because you like, how can this happen? And that's what when I talk to people about this story, that's what I face a lot. A lot of people like, come on, man, you trying to tell me you wasn't there, period. First, that's the first thing you got to get past.
Right.
That, bro, for real, you wasn't there.
For real.
And then you got to clarify that part, right? And then you got to get past the other part, right? So if you weren't there, then
he was there.
He was there. So then you got to get past that part. So you always playing defense of your reputation. You feel what I mean? And it's kind of hard. But not only that, people always just look at it from a character perspective of me and my bro and what we went through, but nobody never look at the aspect of how that damaged my mama.
Right. I was about to ask you that, because
you feel me?
Being she only has 2 sons, right?
Yeah.
And then y'all got another sibling. Okay, now that's what I was going to ask you. Like, how I can't imagine how she felt being both of your boys gone.
Yeah, no, I can tell you how she felt.
She was upset.
Oh, she put me out.
She did?
Yeah, man. She put me out. So the police told my mom also, white boy killed the boy and he gonna let your baby boy go to jail for it. So it was so damaging that she believed it. You know what I'm saying? And so when she put me out, by that time I done accumulated some more money. So my mental was so messed up. I was walking around with maybe 10, 15 grand, like I had $100 bills under the soles of my shoes.
Wow.
Walking around, you know what I'm saying, trying to figure it out, because I was just, it was just traumatizing, and I walked on the money for so long that the money stuck together. So it was like maybe 600 on the top, 600 on the bottom. That won't no good.
Wow.
I didn't even realize I was so messed up. I ain't even think, you go get a hotel room. That's how messed up my mental was at that time.
Because of what the stigma that everybody had put on you, and they started wearing on you.
My mother, I didn't care about what nobody else said. I don't care about the street.
Okay.
The city showed me a long time ago that they know I don't care what the city say about me.
Right.
He care more than me. I don't care. But what my mama did to me, that was devastating, because we were mama boys.
Right. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I'll probably still be there.
Right.
You know what I mean? For real.
Right.
But we were mama boys. So that part damaged me more than anything. And today, I take care of my mom. You know what I'm saying? and I still sit with that. But I watched it. You know what I'm saying? I cleaned that.
And,
So go ahead.
I always like to put up that point, you know what I'm saying? Prior to that, you feel me? I'm thugging. I'm feeling like, fuck the system. They done me dirty. I don't care about nobody, you feel me? Y'all already done me dirty. What I'm going to do? Be respectful? So after that, I was doing anything I possibly could do to, to benefit me and make my situation better, because I feel like the system literally just disregarded me.
Right. He failed you, yeah.
But that day changed so much of my perspective, because when I'm combing through this paperwork, all the stuff that they were saying, that was untrue and that was rumor and I was hearing, I now had paperwork. Right. You know what I mean? My lawyer had handwritten notes. You know what I'm saying? Had handwritten notes. How, you know what I'm saying? Like the same girl, all right, so Amanda Bonds, when I was going to trial that day, Amanda Bonds was beating on the door. And I'm walking out and I heard somebody saying, hey, I'm going to tell him you didn't do it. I'm going to tell him you didn't do it. So I look back. So I look at the deputy. I'm like, deputy, who was that? It was like, shoot, you should know. She on your case.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So you didn't even know who she was at that time.
I didn't.
That's crazy.
I didn't know she was locked up, didn't recognize her. So they were like, you should know you on your case. So when I go to sit down at the trial, so I look at my lawyer, John H. Underwood, I'm like, hey,
Trash.
Is a lady back there who's saying that, she's saying that she's going to come testify that I didn't do it.
Right.
His statement to me was, she's a prosecutor's witness. She's going to get called today, and I'm going to cross-examine her.
Right.
You know what happened, right? I walked out that courtroom. Amanda Bonds went on that stand.
Did not testify.
Wow, she didn't testify?
Nobody testified.
Nobody testified.
His homeboy Sammy, I heard that they was out there going crazy because they didn't even let them testify.
Right.
Everybody in court to testify for him. But his lawyer didn't put nobody on the stand.
Listen, this ain't cap.
So was your lawyer working with them? Like, what was the deal with the lawyer? Because why wouldn't you want to put on a case?
Now, that was a big part, because when you can file for something called ineffective assistance of counsel, and when you do that, you have to have this burden of proof, and it's a case Strickland versus Commonwealth, where it states, it lays out a list of burdens you have to have, so you can see that your lawyer was ineffective assistance of counsel. About time I got put on that game, it was too late. He was dead. You know what I'm saying? You talking about a 15-year-old that got to go to the law library. You talking about a 15-year-old that I never had a case. That was my first case.
So you were 15, right? And you were how old when you got sentenced?
16.
16. So you were 16 and you were sentenced to 53 years but 10 years suspended.
53 years.
So you were a teenager and went straight into penitentiary.
Straight to the league.
Straight to the league.
You know what I'm saying?
So tell us a little bit about that. Like how was it when you well, first of all, let's go back to when you were sentenced. Like, what was your mindset during that time?
Oh my God, man. Everything is transcript. You know what I mean? Everything, they got stenographers, video. So they literally know. So the statement I made in the courtroom, it was the best I can muster at 15. I looked at the judge, I'm like, look, I don't know what's going on, but you gave me 53 years. You sentencing the wrong person. You know what I mean? I literally said that, Tills, you talking about 53 years for a crime you didn't do? You can't even imagine that.
Right.
I'm at 15, I'm just in my head, my math ain't even that strong at the time. I'm trying to calculate how old I'm going to be when I get out.
Yeah. Right.
You feel me?
Absolutely.
I'm on all fingers like, 60? You feel me?
Yeah.
Could not even phantom it. You know what I'm saying? Went back to the jail. Man, this is why I salute the bros from Portsmouth, right, to this day. Because Portsmouth was handling us so bad, we had they look, man, no, you ain't gonna want to eat. Boy, they done bust you in your head, but you gotta eat something. They had techniques.
Right.
Because you be so sick. Mm-hmm. And then in my perspective, so if a guy who done the crime get his time and be sick, imagine a person who didn't do it.
Yeah, he good. He good with it.
Yeah.
He did it. That's my body.
Like, that's my body. And he's sick. I'm like, I didn't even do it. I couldn't even eat. I had guys, older guys, said G, man. Shout out to said G. If you out there anything, they gonna respect Big Bro. Cause he like said, man, listen, little bro, I know how you feel. You're gonna have to eat something. I was drunk. I couldn't even eat. I was a shell of myself. I was done.
Right.
You feel me? And then bros built me up. And then after that, you already know you healed now. So now you just got to make those adjustments. Mm-hmm. And you talking about somebody who felt like against all odds, the system don't care nothing about you. So I ain't had nothing in my mind but go.
Yeah, go.
You feel me? That's how, yeah.
That's how it was. I can't imagine. And, you know, this is like, wow. It's like, you know, have you ever thought about writing a book?
A lot of people said it, man, but I'm telling you, if I wrote this book, man, I got some federal moments. My guys that know me, you know what I'm saying? Because you talking about a 15-year-old growing up in prison, so now you talking about adoption, you know, evolving at its highest case. And I got sent to Southampton Correctional Center. Mm-hmm. At this time, we called that gladiator school. So you go through Southampton, and you think it's on the TV when you walk through and they yell out, fresh meat, fresh. No, that ain't TV.
That's real
for
life.
Real.
Yeah.
You feel me? And, you know, just luckily, I was from Portsmouth, and Portsmouth was doing us so dirty, it was probably about like 20, 30 of us at Southampton.
Okay.
So when I got there, being a 15-year-old, I could have easily been taken advantage of. Because you talking about 15 amongst grown men, it could have happened.
Yeah.
And I hate to say it, I seen that happen to some young guys that shouldn't have happened to. Right? Because of how they designed the system at that time. And shout out to the guy, shout out to Lord, shout out to Face, shout out to they go Daniel, man, shout out to my bros. And they protected me, you feel me? And they put that and they allowed me to grow into myself, you know what I'm saying? And after that, once I got them, like Tupac say, get your hate up with your weight up, get them back when you're bigger. And I guaranteed I was trying to get them back. You feel me?
Yeah. So you were in there and you were young. Like, how did that make you feel? Like, being that you were one, you know, pointed out, then convicted of something, then going into an institution, and then, you know, and you're already feeling some type of way. You feel like the system failed you, right?
Yeah.
But
no
then
doubt.
now you're going there, you're seeing all these type of crimes. So you like, what the hell is going on? Like, is this really about to be my life?
Yeah. Honestly, it's a catch-22 because you have to have that level of hope, but at the same time, you gotta deal with the reality of where you at. So you gonna adapt. You see what I'm saying? And that's what we was doing. We was adapting, and but to me, because I was wrongfully convicted, I just felt like the system. I was anti-system. Mm-hmm. So you talking about what your boy, you know, I gang orientation, wrecking, drug dealing, whatever it was done. I was anti-system. I was goddamn pro-black. A white dude just told me that I killed somebody and I ain't do it. I thought white people was at me, the system was at me. So it created a mindset. And I'm glad I was able to shake out of it, but it created a mindset. And that's part of the story when bro will tell you know what I'm saying? You know, bro was bringing work to the penitentiary.
That's crazy. I know you said that, but I just can't believe you did that, knowing that knowing that y'all, you know what I'm saying, you didn't basically, I mean, the way we will look at it is like you beat a murder because that dude came and said that it wasn't you, but your brother is doing time for a murder, and you, it's no way I would have enough muscle to do that.
My brother had 43 years.
43.
What? 53. You know what I'm saying? But
Long way.
anything I could do for my brother to make his bed easy, it was just my job at the time. This what the system create. They don't understand what they do to households. No doubt. And then you point the finger at us because you created this. Yeah. Now we have to gonna change our lives, which we did. You know what I'm saying? But there's no type of there's no type of I'm sorry or no process to make us whole. And
after they done tore you down.
Yeah, there's no process to make us whole. We still ain't made whole.
Yeah.
Right.
And
So how did it make you feel when your brother was found guilty and sentenced? What's up, family? Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Wait Again Minute Podcast. If you haven't done so already, please hit that subscribe button on our YouTube channel. Hit that notification button as well. So when we drop a new episode, you'll be first to know. Stay tuned to all things Wait Again Minute. And you were at home, but you did a little stint too. But once you came home, like, how did that make you feel knowing that your brother?
No, so I that was like 3 years, because 97, 98, and I fell in 99. Mm-hmm. So like all I knew was to get money. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That was my programming. Shout out to my dub boys. Man, that's all we knew was to get money. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. We seen the older guys out there. The cool blocks. You know what I mean? The Bebop Robs, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. These guys showed us how to get money, the Poke Chops, And so all I knew was to get money, get it to my bro so he could survive in there, you know what I'm saying? Right. And also, I was still a good nigga out here in these streets, so my name carried a little bit of weight, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And
much more than you probably think.
So even though he was in the system, my name kind of
protected him.
Yeah, mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying, as much as it could. And so there was nothing that I wasn't going to do for him, right. But nobody knew because I'm you know what I'm saying, I'm a vagabond, you know what I mean? I'm always dolo, you know what I mean? I really don't roll with a team, you know what I'm saying, since the Cabinet Park days. And like I said, whatever he needed, you know what I'm saying, I was going to make sure he get it.
And it's funny, man, I got so many prison stories. Like I tell you, like literally, like guys know me from that DOC, like literally. And I got stories, but when we tell these stories, when I talk about these stories, I like to talk about them in their context. Mm-hmm. Like that's what we was created because, you know what I'm saying, we was surviving. You see what I'm saying? Mom in a mental institution, bro out here, done did a 5-year bid, don't got nowhere to go. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't like we bragging about these stories. So when I say, when I say who I was in the penitentiary, it's because that's who I was. You feel me? So when I say bro was bringing me a pound of reefer, grams of dope, tobacco, cell phones in the penitentiary, it wasn't because we was doing it because we wanted to be John Gotti, but that was a survival technique. And when I'm in the penitentiary, it's all type of goons, goblins, and monsters in there. You feel me? So, you got to become something. You know what I mean? I seen guys literally get raped. I seen guys literally get stabbed. I have seen guys in the penitentiary get murdered.
That's crazy.
You feel me? So now you not gonna murder me.
Right, so I got to do what I got to do.
You feel me? And bro, on his side, you can imagine, you know what I mean, what he was dealing with. So that's what was created. Like that's what was created. So we became reactionary to a system. And I don't want to be too political, but I gotta say this. I'm telling you, luckily they coming up with legislations to attempt to change how they view the black body. Mm-hmm. But for real, man, minorities in this country are marginalized. We put in a gap. You know what I'm saying? You can't tell me that a white kid that was 15 years old with no evidence would have been sentenced to 53 years, right? So then that same 15-year-old kid that never even had a charge before, you demonize him. You say he slanged somebody. You say, oh, what type of kid would do this? What type of kid would do that? Right? Then you put him, you paint that, and now you push him through a system that looks like nobody cares for him. Then this is what you creating. Right. So I like to put that in its context when I'm talking about me. Because I truly feel like, you know what I'm saying, I was doing, and somebody can come up here and be like, man, you ain't got to do that. Yeah. You ain't got to do that. But in my mind, right, I felt like I was doing what I had to do to survive with the hand I was dealt, and I was doing it.
Right.
And like you said, no evidence, no gun. The only thing you got is at the time, you know what I'm saying, no disrespect to her, but a dope thing saying that I showed her a gun and said, this is what I popped him with.
It actually started with you.
Yeah.
Wow.
No evidence. No gun. And they, like he said, they say they found the gun in the house when they did the search, but no one was convicted of a gun.
Right. And y'all wasn't charged. You didn't
We weren't charged with a gun.
Wow.
But they found the gun.
And the gun wasn't murder weapon.
But they kept that money.
They kept that money.
They kept that money.
Of course they did.
They kept that money.
Of course they did.
But look, check this out. Because if they would have had the money and they would have had the gun, then it would have been a criminal case. Then you can't keep the money. But if you don't got no case because it's not drug related to the money, then you can keep the money. So it seems like Portsmouth was trying to keep money. And we talking about Detective R.R. Huntington. If y'all don't know
Trash.
he was the detective on my case, the DT. Detective R.R. Huntington, if you don't know about him,
We don't.
he got in a shooting because his wife was involved with a dude that was selling her pills.
Wow.
He literally caught a case. The prosecutor of my case, Martin Bullock,
Trash.
Gerald Massey,
Trash.
both got cases.
That's crazy.
Like they was facing criminal actions, criminal
Right.
suits.
That's
These
crazy.
are the dudes that prosecuted me.
And they actually are out here committing crimes themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they got evidence against them. We don't have no evidence against us.
These are the
This
dudes.
is crazy. It's funny now, but I'm sure it wasn't funny back then because
no.
it seems like it really seems like a whole lot. But now, during that time, you were sentenced to 53, 43 you had to do, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so at what point did you change? Did you actually pivot and say, you know what? I know the system did me wrong. I know this and the third, but I choose to do something different.
Yo, man, I'm talking about I never stopped fighting because it's just something about I wish I can retain the name of the young brother that just got executed, but you can tell somebody innocence, man, because the declaration be different. And that guy declared his innocence until he was executed.
Absolutely.
And so it hits different, right? And with me, no matter what, the activity I was involved in, I always declared that. But what brought it into reality for me is when Erica Miss Hashimoto of Georgetown Law School, thank you, Miss Erica.
Thank you.
When it gave me a slither of hope. She was a white lady, right? And she took my case and she told me her story. Like, we bonded, and I told her, I said, thank you, because you are the first person that actually looked at me, that seen me.
Right.
I wasn't a caseload. I wasn't a black kid from Portsmouth who killed somebody. She literally saw me. She listened to me. She heard me. She came and seen me, and she looked over my case, and she said, "This is a travesty that they would take a 15-year-old kid with the amount of evidence they get and sentence him to 43 years." She said, "If you would have got locked up 2017, she said, you wouldn't have made it to the prison. You'd have got off because you talking about that war on drug era. You talking about Bill Clinton when they was changing the non-parole law. We went from doing, you could do what? 65% of your time to 85% of your time. You went to no parole. So I just got caught into that aspect when they was just trying to talk. They was talking about the super predator. You know what I'm saying? And that's how we was looked at, you know what I'm saying? So they didn't see us as victims or individuals that could possibly be innocent.
Right.
They just seen us as predators and people who was taking advantage of the community. And I got caught up in that. And as y'all know, they came up with legislation, me being out, because they tried to correct that. They know that they took a large portion of young black men and they was giving them 40, 50, 60 years. So they tried to rectify it with the juvenile, the fishback law, which they came up with law like, hey, look, we might got to take a step back because we just gave a whole generation a billion years.
Life. 25 was life to me, bro.
Yeah.
So 25 ain't life. I thought it was life.
Yeah.
When we was at the event, I said, stand up, bro. They said life. He said, no, bro, 25 ain't life. I thought 25 was life.
Right,
you
yeah.
know? But
Because you know what? Now that you said that, it used to be, because it used to be 20, right? Then it went to 25.
Right.
Now it's the football numbers, basically.
Yeah.
They giving you, or
Yes, life is
someone said-
635 years.
That's crazy.
Man, my bro told me, he came in there, man, he was like, man, you know, because I was, you know, you had moments in there. I'm like, man, I ain't never coming home. Da, da, da. He like, you ain't never coming home. He come back to the cell. He said, man, I'm going to show you what, you know, trying to give me that hope, that light. He said, man, I'm going to show you what never coming home look like. He was like, man, I got an L note. Look at my release date. You know what I'm saying? That dude release date said 2045.
Great.
He had 635 years.
Wow.
You know what I'm talking about? So you talking about, you know, just these numbers now. Listen, I have said this plenty of times. I am not, you know, an individual that would say, oh, if you killed somebody, come on, bro, I'm going to tell you, if you do the crime, you got to do the time.
Yeah.
So I ain't sitting here advocating for crime or advocating for anything like that, but I'm just saying I've done 23 years and 8 months, and I have seen guys, man, you talking about Ernest Elliott. He was a young dude, man, with a mental disability, right? Got a hijacking. Didn't he hijack? Just act like he had a gun and stole the lady car and drove off. And they gave him a carjacking charge. And if you know about the law, a carjacking charge carries 25 to life. They gave him 50 years.
That's crazy.
He's one of the guys that came back under the fishback law too.
Right.
Because they was like, well, we was just handing them out. So, you know, I'm not sitting here trying to, you know, say, you know, oh, I'm promoting crime or anything. But no, if you have individuals that's been wrongfully committed on crimes they didn't do, no, get that man they do right.
Yeah, fix
That's
that.
absolutely
Fix
true.
that.
And the thing about it is this. If he's saying he did 23 years, 8 months, and he's still saying that he didn't do it, I mean, like, you done did the time, so we wouldn't even be here if we done it. We're warehouse.
Yeah, that's
You know?
absolutely true.
He done did 23 years, 8 months.
And I'm doing
that's
good.
That's a lot of time.
Doing amazing.
So
You know?
what? Yeah, so I asked you, what are you doing now?
Man, a lot, for real, politics is such bullshit to me, right? I hate politics, right? Even when I do nonprofit work, when me and bro go out to programs, I hate politics to the point it almost deterred me from doing nonprofit work. Because just the politics in the political system, man, it just irritates me, man, to the point of agitation, right? So when we discussing these matters going into it, people will be like, well, you've been out 3 years. Why haven't you did this? And why haven't you, you know, sued this person? Or why you ain't got no money? Because I always tell my bro, and he be like, you crazy? I'm like, it ain't about the money to me. You know what I mean? Because I ain't nobody victim. I ain't nobody victim. Matter of fact, I make it a point to show you I don't need your money. You feel me? Portsmouth, y'all dirty, or not Portsmouth as the city, but the individuals who participated in my case, who gave me 43 years, you didn't break me.
Right.
You feel me? I'm good. You talking about somebody who came out here, who established everything and doing what he's supposed to be as a citizen. But what brought me back here, you'll always meet that felony. When we was at program, bro, what they say, felonies are for life. So now that I'm coming up, I'm coming better, I'm working now, I'm doing government jobs, I'm contracted to do these government jobs. When you work government, you already know what time it is.
Yeah, the clearance, yeah.
So now I come full circle again. I can't even say, I don't even want y'all money, forget it, y'all gave me the time, I want to move on with my life. I can't make that statement because I can't move on.
So basically what you're saying is every time you feel like you're going uphill, is always an incline, and it's like it keeps stopping you when you get to a certain point.
Yes, for something I didn't do.
Yeah.
So you trying to tell me somebody who got out, done 23 years, 8 months for a crime, yes, 8 months for a crime, I'm gonna keep stipulating that, I want my 8 months.
Right.
So for a crime he didn't do, and he's saying, you know what, I'm so tired of just fighting these people, I'm so tired of just going through these court hearings. I'm so tired of hearing people what I can and can't do. You can have it. You can have it. All I'm gonna do, I'm gonna push forward. I'm gonna be the best version of me, and I'm gonna push forward. And then when you attempt to be the best version of you entering these new fields of work, right? And then you're bumping into you're a murderer. Oh, you're not a murderer. Then what? Now I got this long drawn up justification. I gotta go get all these institutions that help me get out. They gotta file all these letters and do all this. And here I go again at day one.
Yeah.
I can't escape it. Even when I say I'm done with it.
Right, yeah.
You know, I'm through with the system. It won't allow me to escape.
Okay, so you got out on the fishback, right? So juvenile
law.
Juvenile law. Okay.
Yes.
So now, what's going on with you now? Like, I know you said you're working, you're doing some things or whatever.
Yeah.
But listening to you talk, I can feel the disappointment. I can see the hurt. I can see the frustration.
No question.
Like, so what are we doing to make sure that this doesn't happen to somebody else coming behind you?
Yep. That's why, fortunately, bro was already establishing and with PR and had We the People Money Management. I don't think without We the People Money Management, I don't think I would have became as financially aware as I am, right? You talking about individual doing so much time, getting out at 15, never paid a check, never did a bill, never had a car, never did nothing. You talking about a bald head. So luckily I had support. Bald head. So luckily I had a support system that helped me. So in return, I reached back to my brothers, right? And this is my portion of reaching back. We partnered with, me and my brother partnered with the sheriff department. With, shout out Sheriff Moore, thank you. We partnered with him with a Young Kings program and Sheriff Waters. Shout out Big Bro. And we partnered with them. So that was our form of reaching out through, I'm going to let my brother explain that, but through We the People Management, we was able to go through these projects and try to, uplift these young guys and give them some kind of financial awareness.
But before we even go into that program, I would like for him to speak on the first time he met Sheriff Moore.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was interesting. That was an interesting meeting because it was full circle. Bro was already pounding the doors down, so he was already hearing my name because he was giving him visits. Because like I said earlier, I got all this paperwork, and in that paperwork, Sheriff Moore's name was up there. At the time, he was an agent, ATF agent, and he wrote to the detectives of my case that he had a reliable informant that knew who committed the murder. He wrote that letter to Detective R.R. Huntington.
Trash.
Right? And so it came full circle. So when I got out, I was able to meet Sheriff Waters.
Okay.
And he told me, he was like, man, I'm sorry. And that was part of that gaining confidence again back into the system, because remember that was knocked out of me.
Right.
So to come full circle, and Waters giving me, and Michael Moore giving me that opportunity to reach back to the community to try to aid. He gave me that because he recognized my transition, and I appreciate for them because he gave me a stepping stone to and that belief back, right?
Yeah.
That it is good people out here.
And then he actually fueled you, especially because if you were already empty, and then being that he told you something simple as I'm sorry, it fueled you to propel you to what you guys are doing now. So explain about what you guys are doing.
Okay, so we like to shout out PRR, shout out to Onyx, Lakeisha Onyx Hicks. She Lissa, but she actually helped us navigate the system.
No question.
Okay.
And she taught us about the city council, all that stuff. So she really, really helped us out a lot. And so what we then did was we created look-alike, sound-alike, because everywhere we go, they say, y'all look alike, sound alike. We were trying to find a name for our business. Y'all look alike, sound alike. So we created sounded like LLC, and that's our nonprofit. And like he said, we gave back to the city by mentoring kids. And as we did that mentoring program, you know what I'm saying, I also was already doing my financial program. So I got a program called WTP Money Management Group, We the People Money Management Group. And what we do is we teach people how to not live check to check.
Right.
And so when my brother came home, when he was saying he had the support system, he actually had the program. And I always say to this day now, he got 3 cars. He been home 3. Now he done had 6 cars. He done wrecked 3. But we not talking about that. You know what I'm saying? His driving was trash.
Get better though.
He better now. He better now. So he has a work car. He has 2 work cars, and he have his dream car through the program. And he also have his titles. You know, he got a Dodge RT. He have his titles.
Yeah.
So the program teaches us how to manage finances, how not to live check to check, how to pay yourself first, how to leverage your credit. And through that program, he then created RIF, where he teaches people how to deal with the stock market.
Okay.
So
What's funny, man, you know, behind those walls, you meet a lot of interesting people.
Yeah.
Like a lot of, and that's what I talk about, the demonization of the offender, right? Because, you know, you would think that, you know, all these people behind these walls are just these animals. But for real, you know, you got people in there that just caught some bad breaks. And unfortunately, you know, I always been astute. You know what I mean? I always been a listener. And I just ran across individuals that poured in me, man. Brother Willie, the Solomons, the Paul Taylors, man. The Shy, shout out Big Bro Shy. I'm talking about I just had all type of wonderful mentors, right? And they just created this individual. So when I got out here, I already had a plan, a strategy, and a purpose, right? What I'm gonna do. And that's why everybody, you know, when you sometimes you go around, you looked at as a unicorn. Somebody look at you and try to be like, you know, especially when you go out there, be like, oh, he's one that made it, and they make you seem like you this only one. But no, it's plenty of dudes out there that came from the background, the environment. Our guy was given a second chance, and they thriving and doing great.
Right.
But I always talk about the criminalization of the black body. Because that's how you keep them in there. So now you got a dude that was locked up from 15 years.
What's up, family? Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Wait Again Minute Podcast. If you haven't done so already, please hit that subscribe button on our YouTube channel. Hit that notification button as well. So when we drop a new episode, you'll be first to know. Stay tuned to all things Wait Again Minute.
Years, right? You got them doing 40 years. You know what I mean? You know, they telling you, oh, if y'all let him out, or if something happened, you know, he's going to get out here and just be a scourge to the planet Earth and rape and pillage the community. But then when those people get a chance to get out, is the total opposite.
Right, yeah.
Right? You looking at a person where you'll be like, "Dang, this the person you was telling me that was eating people and killed 145 people?" Or, you know, and say he didn't even do it. Or just saying, you know, you just painting these people to be the worst they can be. But for real, we got to pay attention to that.
Right.
Because that's how they get us. And when I say they, you know, I'm talking about the nefarious individuals, right, that take politics, crime, and justice and spin it to do their bidding. Because I had to be a victim of that. And it's countless other people,
sad.
right? If not, why would you have the fishback law? Why would you have the active juvenile parole law? Why would Northam look at these cases, these statistics, and say, yes, some travesty happened here, so we got to do something for these guys? Remember, that happened. I was a victim of that. I failed doing that early. I really want my case to be put in that scope because I'm not the only person from Portsmouth.
So you want to be a case study.
yeah.
You got that on right.
Yeah.
Because I'm telling you, they knew what happened. Individuals,
And they allowed it,
to happen.
So what would you say to someone who may be coming up on some of the same things, experience some of the same things as you did? Like, what would you say to them?
Like this, let me speak on that real quick. What I would say to any dude that's in prison, the same thing I told my bro, find you a trade. Find you a trade. Find you something that you can do, that you can bring to the outside. Do not do time and not get a trade. I don't care if it's cutting hair, if they got electrician, if they got sheet metal, I would suggest all of the guys to get into electrician work, HVAC work. You know what I'm saying? Because you can always work on the side. So then when you trying to figure out how to make it work, you can come in with a skill. You have to have a skill when you come home. Please, fellas, when y'all guys in there, when y'all come home, please get a trade. Please get a trade.
And if it's anybody from the correctional system or anybody from an institution that's looking for this, hey, look, stop giving offenders that's returning back into the population that 1 week course of how to pay rent, write a check, get a car, don't work.
It don't work.
You got to do better.
You need to let WTP come in that system and teach these guys. Because we are showing you right now through him that it works. That program y'all got in the system, we ain't saying it ain't helpful. We just saying that we created something that can do a little bit better. So please call us. And we will come in that system and we will teach. And don't take them trades out of the penitentiary.
Look, and I'm not even doing this for, I don't care. Look, and I'll say this, you don't even have to call us.
Yeah.
Call somebody. Because if you think that you can take a group of individuals that was a group of individuals that was 15 to 18, right? Give them 20, 30 years and then release them back into society without proper support or the know-how, you only creating it again. Now this is the saddest stuff I heard when I go to, and I go around talking. I do. I go in meetings, I sit around, they ask me what can be done better. And the scariest thing that I hear when I say, why don't people want to change this? And they say, because this how they want it to work. It's the scariest shit.
Yeah, I'm sure.
When I heard people in position to legislate say that in dark rooms, hey, yeah, you got a good point, but have you ever thought this is how the system is made? What?
Yeah, and I think that's what the issue is now. Like we're coming up from a time now where people aren't sitting on their hands anymore.
Ain't no question.
People are exposing. People are coming forward and saying. So it's like we're challenging them. So that's why they're coming up with these different programs or trying to right their wrongs.
No question.
But if we and it's still a thing of. So when you said about the politicians, it's sad, but it's true.
Yeah.
It's definitely sad. So I wanted to ask you, Elliott.
Yeah.
Again, if you could say something to someone to encourage them to not, be around certain people, kind of watch their surroundings or kind of watch where they're going.
Yep.
Because you don't want them to go down the road that you went down. What would you say to them?
Yep. And I know this is going to sound cliche-ish, but a wise man told me, you show me your 5 friends, I'll show you your future.
Yeah.
Right? You got to be careful of the individuals that you revolve around because they give you more than you think. I remember somebody told me, shout out to Ishmael, he said, man, when you think, you got to frame a reference, right? And we always say, oh, I think inside the box, I think outside the box, right? So if we thinking in that term, that means that it's 4 sides to that thing. Majority of us pull our references from 4 things. You either pulling it from religion, politics, right, education, or your environment, right? And they become your reference points. If you fall on hard time and you're a Christian, you can say, God, please deliver me, right? If you're a politician and you're a Democrat and you trying to persuade laws, if you're a liberal, you're gonna change laws to be liberal, right? And if so, you're gonna have these reference points, right? And all of us is given these reference points. And that's why I always say we are the black body is demonized and criminalized because you can see these black kids in Portsmouth, right? And you can see them, and when you see them, because we demonize and criminalize them, you automatically see him as a threat. Your mind, your frame of reference automatically go, dude, this young dude got a gun? Why the fuck is he wearing a hoodie in the summertime? Oh, he got a gun. Or, oh, no, these kids in Portsmouth is the worst kids you can come across. And we creating a cycle. We perpetuating, right, the stereotype. Right? And that's right? And we keep the cycle going. And it's our frame of reference. So it's up to us to change our concept of how we identify each other. That's why I purposely walk in meetings like this. Right? I'll be in there with some people who's trying to ask me, oh, so what should we do about the correctional system? How do you think we could go about this? Because I was a part of a gang. Right? So when I go to these task forces and they discussing how we can keep youth out of being in gangs, I intentionally dress like this.
Why?
Because it's the stereotype that's gonna make you choose how you interact with the individual. Before I start talking, they be like, the fuck is this dude?
Yeah.
They automatically think I have nothing. But when they start hearing my concepts, my ideals, my philosophies, and how I identify with the world, then it changed. So I'm saying give that same perspective, that same outlook to that dude, that young boy you will see out there with that hoodie on. Because I did that one day. I come to my crib, I see two young boys sitting next door. They got on hoodies and they got they pads. I'm like, well, what you doing? I look over there. Man, them dudes was looking at weather patterns.
Wow.
Can't judge a book by its cover.
That's exactly
Them niggas
what it
was
is.
discussing weather patterns. I ain't know whether to check to see was they aliens, extraterrestrials, or what. Them dudes, I was like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? But it just show you, and that's how we can't criminalize and demonize the black body.
Yeah, that's good. And then too, people will see your story, see what you went through, and hopefully it'll push whatever it is that you need in order to get whatever you want. Because I do think that just listening to you or whatever, and the passion and, like I said, being the emotions, even like from your brother, like saying like, look, that's my little brother. So I got to make sure he's straight. But to see somebody else go through it, we definitely don't want that.
No doubt.
So
No doubt.
So my last question to you is, and both of you guys can take your time answering it. I'm gonna start with you first, Blonco, because you've been very quiet, but you've been supportive. So I get it. I get it.
I play my role. I'm behind the camera all the time.
Look, ain't
She's like, was your brother there? Yeah, he's the one taking the pictures.
Right,
you know what I mean?
right. So we've been having our conversation for a while now. So we always ask our guests how their time has been since they've been on Wait Again Minute. So you're up next. So how was your time this evening?
Say that one more time.
How was your time this evening talking
Here?
to?
Oh man, hey, y'all need to come out and check these young ladies out, man. They have a beautiful setup. They do not like try to, they let you talk about what you want to talk about. They ain't trying to like throw you under the bus. They ain't trying to criminalize you. They are just really here so you can get your story out. So please follow. Please subscribe. This is where it's at, and it's in our city, Portsmouth.
No question.
Mr. Elliott.
I got to second everything he say, man. Wonderful environment, good people, man. The story and the message that y'all allow us to get out, it should be told FUBU for us and by us. You know what I mean? So this is the first time. And people's been asking, like, look, man, come out, tell your story, man. You got a good story, man. I think people need to hear it. But just talking to people that know y'all, they was like, this is a group you would want to go with, man. They really do a good job. And honestly, I'm glad I came because y'all are a wonderful ear. Y'all listen, right? Y'all let it come out and y'all do a wonderful job. And I just hope y'all bring us back because I like to tell some of these penitentiary stories I get.
Definitely.
Y'all
we
already
got
know
more
how
for
it was now.
We got more for you now. We got more for you.
Definitely. I definitely would. Look, check this out. I mean, I'm sure you guys will be back. We have no doubt that you're going to be back because we're very interested. We want to know, more. And it's just like with the stories that you guys have, it's just like we don't have enough time in a day. But they do need to be shared, and they do need to, people do need to hear them because, at the end of the day, it may can help somebody. And then for me, it won't help me because I'm not going to penitentiary. But
Yeah,
I'm just saying, it's just one of those things like full circle for me. Like so many things that I, early on that I was privy to or whatever. But I have enjoyed it. Again, I know you guys are coming back. And before we go, if you want, you guys can shout out your social media so people can follow you guys. Go, Blonco.
All right, y'all look me up on Facebook, WTP Money Management Group. We would love to have you. We would love to help you if you're tired of living check to check. If you're tired of paying late fees. If you're tired of, just not having enough money, waiting the next paycheck to get gas. If you're sick and tired of any of that, please check me out, WTP Money Management Group on Facebook. Hit my line. My phone number's up there. Please reach out. We're here to help everybody. And we also going into the nonprofits this year. I'm going and talk to the kids. I'm giving my program away for free to at least 8 nonprofits that has kids in it. Because my belief is this, right? It's like the language, right? I want to make finances a language. Because like the older Spanish people can't speak English. But their kids can speak English, so they would translate to their parents. I want to talk to the kids in our environment, teach them the finances so they can then talk to their parents. So I want to make finance the language. I truly believe if you want to curb the crime, not stop it, because not one thing can stop crime. I believe if you want to curb the crime, you have to give people financial literacy. So then we won't have to steal, take, rob, and kill from anybody else. Please come check me out, WTP MMG, We the People Money Management Group, and also check out RIF, because after you learn how to gonna save your money, I'm going to send you the little bro, and he going to teach you how to invest it.
No doubt. You can check me out on Facebook at Elliott Hill on Facebook, my Instagram, also Elliott Hill. You can also check me out on Facebook as Nimrod the Great. Also go to YouTube, Book of Success. Just starting to launch it, but we got one video up there, but we just getting up there, so go support that as well.
And go support the music. Nimrod the Great. Y'all check it out. Man. His old music, he made it when he was in the penitentiary.
All right. Anything else you want to say?
If you trying to figure out how you can find Nimrod the Great, it is NIMRODDAGREAT. Nimrod the Great at Facebook, Nimrod the Great at IG.com, Nimrod the Great on YouTube or any platforms. I appreciate that.
And remember, these albums was made in a prison cell with an iPhone 3. You gotta get credit for it. iPhone 3 was made in the prison cell. So y'all gonna hear the background noise, y'all gonna hear the sales closing. These dudes really done that. Check it out. What's the album? What's the album?
We got 2 that was done literally in the penitentiary. We got I'm Not a Rapper and State Baby.
State Baby.
Shout out Tornado. Hey, free Tornado Joe.
Free Tornado Joe.
Free the guy Tornado Joe. Free my bro Tornado Joe, a.k.a. Jody. Carlton Boone. Free Carlton Boone.
So with that being said, good night.
Thank you.